This is a healthcare alert. If you are part of ACA premiums, your health insurance subsidies are likely going to expire because Mike Johnson has refused to bring a vote to the House floor. Democrats tried to the last bit that they could. They got 4 Republicans to sign on to a discharge petition, but Mike Johnson blocked that vote and essentially sent Congress home, meaning that the subsidies will expire at the end of this year and there will be no extension of them. Whether can they be extended in January when the House gets back to business again? Maybe, yes, probably. But the thing is, the worst case scenario has happened, despite even the last minute moves by Congress, by the Democrats, by the House to file a discharge petition, have it go through, and then have a final vote. But Mike Johnson stopped it. So when you think about your Affordable Care Act subsidies expiring for millions and millions of Americans, remember who is the one who stopped it. It was Mike Johnson who stopped it. Whether it can be restarted or not is a whole different topic, and it will come up after the new year, in January when Congress comes back in session. But for now, MAGA Americans have let the American people down, and those 8 senators, 7 Democrats and 1 independent, who let the government reopen and ended the shutdown, gave up the leverage of extending the Affordable Care Act subsidies that is going to impact the lives of millions of Americans and their health insurance, should they choose to remain on the same plans, are going to skyrocket. Or they're going to have to go without a health care plan and hope for the best. Or have to go to the emergency room for once it gets really bad, a medical health condition, and the emergency room has to take care of them, and they don't have the funds, and it has to come from Medicaid, because that's how emergency rooms are funded, should the people be indigent and not be able to pay themselves. And you see that Republicans are building, well, they've built nothing. 15 years of attacking the Affordable Care Act, and they don't have a health plan, which I think should infuriate every single Republican as well as every single American. It is irresponsible. It is not what people in governing should be doing. We know from this alone that the Republicans cannot govern because they can't come up with a legislation that they can replace the Affordable Care Act with. Sure, we can even concede that there are many flaws with the Affordable Care Act. Sure, there are. Why haven't you fixed them in the last 15 years? Why did you let the Affordable Care Act subsidies expire and millions of Americans go into an anxiety-filled holiday season of not knowing what their health insurance status is going to be like in January, or whether Congress is going to finally renew the Affordable Care Act subsidies because they don't have any other option? Because congressmen and congresswomen and people, members of the Senate, are going to hear from their constituents, not just those who are losing health care subsidies under ACA, but also others who don't get health care from the ACA marketplace, but who get their own health care independently. Their health insurance will also go up because millions of people will drop out of the health insurance scheme because they can't afford it. And that is where Republicans have left the American people. Remember that when Republicans keep lying about Democrats destroyed healthcare. No, until the very last moment, Democrats wanted to extend this premium and then keep talking about healthcare reform, which can be worked out in a bipartisan manner. And we saw that bipartisanship in the discharge petition. And I believe that if it was put to the floor to a vote, that it would have gotten more votes from Republicans. And the only reason it didn't is because Mike Johnson, Speaker Mike Johnson, slave to Donald Trump, refused to extend those subsidies that millions of Americans rely upon. And I'm sorry to tell this story at the end of the year, that Republicans have now put us in the worst case scenario with maybe a little prospect of them realizing what mistake they have done once they come back from their recess, their holidays, that they don't have to worry about their health care because the American people pay for their health care. Why can't members of Congress give Americans the same health care that they themselves get based on taxpayer dollars? That would make sense. That would be more than enough for Americans. Why? Would that cost too much money? It couldn't possibly cost more than it's going to cost for the tax cuts to the ultra rich. That's going to take trillions out of our economy and our country over the next 10 years. It won't be that much if you give Medicare for all. But why aren't Republicans going to do that? Because they want Americans to suffer. They want the rich to get richer and the poor to get poorer and suffer and have to grovel for the basic needs that we have. And we have to push back against it in every single way that we can. And here's me doing my bit and telling you about what is coming so you are prepared. Thank you for listening. Please stay tuned. If you are part of the healthcare subsidies group, please maintain as much composure as possible, because there's still a chance that the ACA subsidies would be renewed when Congress comes back. But it is a stressful time for you, and I'm so sorry that you have to deal with it because you are being governed by a group of people who do not know how to govern, who do not know that their job is to uphold the well-being of the people, to work on people's behalf, as opposed to on behalf of big pharma, big insurance companies, or for political power. That is not what the government is supposed to do. The government, for the last 100 years, has taken care of the American people. And we need to get back to the work of taking care of American people. Thank you for listening. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you soon.